Dragon had learned to become a deadbeat ever since he was a toddler because his own father Garp joined the Marines 1 year before his son's birth at age 22. With Dragon's mother's origins being shrouded in mystery, there are many in the community suggesting that Dragon's mother may have been a celestial dragon or at least someone of noble lineage connected to them. This idea isn't just based on coincidence. The very name Dragon stands in defiance to the celestial dragons, almost like a destined irony, making Dragon's opposition to their oppressive world order a personal affair, almost like he's rebelling against the world he was born into. Now, me and Yusuf have our own theories of Dragon being inspired by the Hindu god Vayu, who is the deity of wind and father of the monkey god Hanuman, which draws parallels between divine rebellion, freedom, and inherited power supporting this dragon is celestial theory. But we have already made videos talking about that, so instead let's focus on the Goa kingdom where Garp is from. It appears to be one of the original 20 kingdoms that founded the world government. This puts Goa on par with places like Dressrosa and Alabasta, both ruled by lineages with ties to the Void Century. It becomes more intriguing when you consider Saint Jalmak, a celestial dragon who went out of his way to personally visit Goa Island, which was highly unusual because why the f is a celestial dragon going to bumfuck nowhere East Blue, one of the weakest seas? What the f do they have there? Nothing! Their strongest pirate was Arlong, bro. So it's not far-fetched to imagine a young Garp in his earlier years falling in love with someone of noble or even celestial origin, perhaps a relative of Jalmak, because you know, a hockey man like Big Man Garp needs a celestial huzz who is equipped to handle his hockey dick. Bro, like, it's coded and everything. Like, you need someone of celestial bloodline. I'm just saying, bro. Like, with Garp being in the Marines and his wife a noble baddie, it's very possible that Dragon didn't spend much time with his father, who was out patrolling the seas. That's what happened, bro. That's literally what happened, okay? Instead, what Dragon did witness was the first-hand cruelty and corruption embedded within Goa Kingdom's rigid class system. From the lavish lifestyle of the nobles in the high town to the dehumanizing poverty of the Great Terminal, he experienced the world's harsh reality from the very bottom. While the specifics of his time as a child remain hidden, we can piece together fragments of Dragon's journey. Garp, despite his distance, returned home occasionally and tried instilling marine values into his son, just as he would later with Luffy and Ace. But unlike them, Dragon followed his father's path, believing in the hype of the Navy, and enlisted at age 17. This was during Garp's prime, at age 39, just after his legendary battle with Rox D. Zebek. The Marines had been dispatched to quell a catastrophic event. Rox D. Zebek leading a crew worth 20 billion berries, launching an assault on the Celestial Dragons. It was here that Garp, in an unprecedented alliance, fought alongside Goldie Roger to defeat the Rock's pirates. Due to his age and having just joined the Marines, Dragon didn't take part in this event. However, God Valley would be one of the first dominoes to push Dragon towards his revolutionary path. Just like Kobe or Smoker, he was a prodigy, sharp, strong, and observant, and that day, he was exposed to the darkest side of the government he served. God Valley, it turns out, wasn't just a battleground, it was the stage for a secret tournament held every 3 years by the Celestial Dragons. On non-government affiliated islands, holy knights would descend and hunt the local population for sport. Dragon watched as the truth behind the world government started to be revealed to him, especially with his own dad being part of it. Although all records of God Valley have been removed, where captains like Hina don't even know of this island in the future, Dragon, with his noble lineage and proximity to Garp and being a future Admiral prospect, was in the perfect position to learn everything about that day. Similar to him, Akainu was also there, especially if we look at both of their ages, which is the same. While Akainu's absolute justice would blame the Rock's pirates for causing the incident at God Valley, Dragon saw the deeper message within the chaos. Rox's true goal was to destroy the Celestial Dragons and and remake the world. Despite being labeled a criminal, his ideology of freedom resonated with the oppressed like Whitebeard, whose homeland was left vulnerable and the government's justice exploited that instead of helping. Similarly, Kaido was sold as a child for his power. This crew, though ruthless, were bonded by their hatred of the world's hypocrisy. To the Marines and Akainu, Rox was a threat to peace, but to Dragon, the question lingered: who are the real villains? Of course, Rox was far from ideal. His dream of becoming the king of this new world reeked of ego when the island he ruled Fullalid was lawless and brutal. But the flaws of Rox didn't erase the truths Dragon had seen. It was also at God Valley that the future members of the Revolutionary Army, Kuma, Jenny, and Evo, were first seen. Unlike the other Marines who turned a blind eye, Dragon in the future gave them a reason to fight with the Revolutionary Army. The God Valley incident was the first to show Dragon that the true enemy of the world aren't pirates or Marines, but rather the system which enslaves the world and calls it peace.